The most important thing, or I should say one of the most important things, because the most important thing is being yourself. But one of the most important things in life is to be happy, is to have joy. That there's nothing more important than that other than being yourself. And when you be yourself, 99% of the time, that leads to joy and happiness. If it doesn't, that means that there's certain things you got to work out karmically to get rid of so you can reach that joy and happiness. But in all totality, the only thing that you should be focused on in life is being yourself and being happy. Anybody that wants to talk about, oh, it's about making money, it's about getting this car or getting this, if that's what makes them happy, then that's what they need to do. So I'm not telling you guys don't get money, but if that's what makes you happy, then go and get that. But fortunate for me and fortunate for a lot of other people, that shit don't make them happy. If that makes you happy, then you're a very sad individual if a material thing makes you happy. And usually people who think material things make them happy, the universe will create a situation where eventually those things won't make you happy anymore. So you'll have whatever you think makes you happy physically, and one day that same thing will end up not bringing you no more joy, or that same thing will be a catalyst in your suffering. So, example, you may have a nice watch and you put so much emphasis on that watch, and you're too happy and you're too focused on that watch. You may fuck around and manifest a situation where somebody comes and robs you for that watch. And now the same thing that made you extremely happy is the same thing that made you feel the opposite spectrum, extremely in distress, extremely anxiety. Now the only thing you can't stop thinking about is the watch, but on the negative octave of it, which is the watch, I got robbed for it. You're gonna start thinking about, oh, what I could have done to not get robbed, and why did this have to happen to me, and why me? So you're still thinking about the watch, but it's on the opposite spectrum. So this is why you don't want to put any focus on these material things, because like anytime I see a person, like I have like people that I used to like know in my personal life, whether it be relatives or friends, and they will always be like, oh, I want this Lamborghini, I want this car, I want this, and they very well wanted it, and if they get it, it will be happy. But when I looked at these people, I was like, I pity these people, because that shit makes them happy. Like, that sucks, because if you don't get that, now you're going to be miserable. Now you're going to be upset. Now you're going to feel like you're lacking. And even if you do get it, if you don't know how to contain your excitement, you're going to manifest a situation where that doesn't bring you any more happiness no more. So it's like, I've always looked at those people like, man, you must be a weak spirit if that's what you really want. Like, to be honest, like me, what I personally want in life is perfect health and to become a breatharian, which you can say that's material and that's a desire, but I look at that as a healthy desire, because that motivates me to do what I got to do on a daily basis to take care of what I got to take care of and help propel me towards my spiritual path. So that's a healthy desire. So we all got to have a desire. Everybody has a desire to live, because if you didn't, you will kill yourself. Everybody has a desire to fucking not be in the same position as they were yesterday or 10 minutes ago. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't take a shower, you wouldn't fucking eat, you wouldn't go and scratch your face, you wouldn't go and fucking do anything. You wouldn't go, if you dropped your cup of water on the ground, you're not going to clean it up. Obviously you desire something, because you're doing these little things that you don't think anything of. So we all have desires, but you want to have healthy desires. But when you start having desires for things, material things, and there's nothing wrong with having desires for material things. Like, a lot of you guys will look at financial gurus and be like, oh, they're material. Like, you may see somebody like Bandman Kevo. And I like to quote Bandman Kevo, because out of all the financial gurus, he's my favorite one, because he the way he does it, a lot of people think that he's material. But when you really look at his energy, the reason he's able to manifest so much and to be on that level isn't because he likes material things. What he likes more is to be doing something great in his life, being the best. And because look at it like this, If you see a nigga who's a financial guru and they said they're worth $50 million, you can't look at them and just say, oh, they're material, they want money. You got to look at them as that's a person who must want something more than money. And that's the burning desire to want to be great. Because if you have $50 million net worth, at one time you had $15 million net worth. At one time you had $20 million. At one time you had $30 million. At 15, 20, 30 million, you could have just called it quits and relaxed. A lot of people will call it quits and relax just off 5 million, 10 million. But for you to get to that threshold means you were at a point where you had more money than you can spend, but you still wanted to become greater and expand more. So that burning desire is why that individual has what he has. It doesn't matter. That's the burning desire. And then you guys may say, what about people who are criminals? What about people who do crime? They scam people and they do whatever. People who do crime, who get massive amount of money like that, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they're taking their energy and their power and their manifestation. I want to say, I hate that word manifestation, but they're taking their power and their energy used to create, and they're doing it in a way that's going to bring them negative energies and leave them leaving this life unfulfilled. So if you made $10 million by scamming people, you could have made $10 million or more doing something righteous, but you decided to use your energy to do something on the negative spectrum. So therefore, you're going to end up dying unfulfilled and accumulating a lot of circumstances and situations that is going to reflect what you've done to others. So this is why you have to know what you're doing. That's why when I see a person who they think that they're really getting away with something, they're really not. And I'm not saying oh, I'm perfect. I say, well, you do this, you do that, but I have a mission and a reason for why I do the things I got to do. So there's certain, a lot of you guys work 9 to 5. Some of you guys need to work a 9 to 5. Me, I'm not supposed to do that. So therefore, the spirit will allow me to do certain things so I don't have to work that. And I have to do I have to do things on my end to take advantage of the opportunity the spirit gives me to make sure I never have to be in that shit. So, and I'm not saying I'm the only one. There's other people like that as well. That's why you can't compare everybody's past. Some of you niggas may need to work a 9 to 5 and stack up some money and do what you got to do. Me, that's not what my spirit wants me to do. I can't do that shit. So therefore, little certain things, you might say, why do you do this? And why you get away with it is because I have a righteous mission and purpose. If I were to just do illegal things and fuck around and I'm not saying I don't do illegal things, so I don't want you guys to say I do it. I don't do illegal things, but if I was to be a person who did illegal things and then not really use it for my spiritual purpose and just fucked around, then that's when you'll see negative things happen, like you see all these other people shit happen to them. So you guys got to understand where you're coming from. So this is why it's good to know yourself and don't focus on the material making you happy. The only material thing that makes me happy is becoming a breatharian. And some people may say that's not material, but I think it is, because it's a mentality, it's a thought. A thought is material. That's something I want to do, and fruition. That's a desire, so it's part of this realm, this world. So that's the only material thing, is me becoming a breatharian. That's the only thing I want. If I would rather be a breatharian and get to that state of not needing than to have $10 million. I don't care about money like that, because I've done it before in other past lives. So this is why when I don't like a lot of food. When I was growing up, things don't entertain me. I never really liked movies, even video game, everything I consumed, I was always picky and I always critiqued and I never liked. Nothing really entertained me. That's why back in the day I used to do a lot of pills and smoke a lot of weed and get drunk. And every time I used to drink, I used to need to drink alcohol to have fun. I couldn't do anything unless I drank, smoked, or if I did some pills. And that was my life for many, many years. Because when I was sober, nothing was fun to me. And I just what was the point of this? So I had to get high, and getting high was the only thing that brought me joy. I remember there would be times I had got new shit when I was younger. I didn't care about it. I remember there was one time when I was young, my dad gave my fucking brother $5 in ones, and he gave me a $5 bill. I ripped that shit up and I threw it in the garbage can, And then he went in my room. He's like, "Where's your $5 at?" It was a few days ago. And he's like, "Where's your $5 at?" Because we were gonna go to the store. And I was like, "I threw it away." He's like, "Why the fuck you throw it away?" I'm like, "You didn't give me. I want a 5-1." Like, just shit like that. And so, like, things like that. He got mad at me, and he's like, "Oh, you need to do this, and that." And then that was like the beginning of my programming for me to actually give a fuck about money and certain things. So around that time, that's when when my dad started scolding me, like, "Why did you do that?" and all that. And I started looking at material things differently, and that's what programmed me to, like, actually give a fuck about money for a certain period of time. But, like, I didn't really care from a young age. I didn't care about nothing really other than just being happy and having fun. And that's it. And even if it took me work to have fun, I wouldn't even want to have fun. I will put that aside. This is why I tell you guys, don't have any expectations on your spiritual mission, on your spiritual purpose. Because when you have expectation on your spiritual mission purpose, you will start to rationalize why you don't want it. Like, you may say, "Oh, if I become spiritual, then I'll be able to manifest the dreams of my life." But then once you get on your path and you realize that shit is harder than it seemed, you're gonna be like, "Do I even want those dreams? Fuck it, I don't want that shit. Ain't nothing." And then you're gonna postpone your spiritual mission, all based upon you don't care about the dream. Whereas, like, bitch, you're supposed to do your spiritual mission because you're supposed to do your spiritual mission, not because of some stupid. That's why I don't like a lot of these spiritualists out here. I'm not gonna get disrespectful, but a lot of these people, they're like bozos. They'll sit there and try to sell you this idea, "Oh, if you raise your vibration, you'll manifest your relationship, you'll manifest money, First of all, if you are highly vibrational and you manifest a relationship, most of the time it's gonna be not even authentic for the most part, unless it's somebody who's on the same mission as you. Because if you raise your vibration and got your money up, you're only going to attract people who care about your money and your vibration. They're not going to actually care about you before you have the money and the vibration. So right off the bat, you don't do this for that. I'm not saying you can't have relationships and you can't get money and shit, whatever, but you shouldn't make it the reason. Because if you do, you're going to start developing unauthentic, ungenuine experiences that's going to lead to other problems. Like they say, more money, more problems. You're going to have other type of problems, such as a bunch of fake ass people coming around you because you're like, "Oh, I can attract all these women now." But where were these bitches when you were down? They weren't there. So I'm not saying you can't fuck with these bitches, but you need to understand where these bitches belong. They belong on the bottom, aka the bottom bitch. That's where they belong. So you use them for what you need to use them for. You disregard them. Obviously, there's going to be some women that were there with you when you were down. And if you found any ones, then those are the ones you keep with you and you respect. But you don't just sit there and like, this is why you need to not connect your spiritual mission and connect it to all this other stupid dumbass shit. Like money and getting relationships and being whatever the fuck people think is fucking positive and good these days. I don't know what the fuck people think is positive and good. Like getting a car and all this other dumbass shit, which you don't need to be on your spiritual path to get any of that shit. Just go get a job and save up money and work hard. Go fucking do scam. Go rob somebody. So many ways to fucking get this shit. Like, I'm not saying go and do that, but I'm trying to get you guys, don't look at it like that. When you get on your spiritual path, you will, in most cases, attract stuff like that, but you shouldn't be on your path just for that. That's stupid. That's dumb. Because eventually when those material things, they don't bring you the same joy anymore, because over time the novelty is going to wear off. Then you're going to lose momentum and not even want to be on your spiritual path, because that car, that money, all those, you burnt out your pleasure sensors and you've done everything, so it's not as fun no more. So, and then what's going to propel you to be on your mission? Because remember, what propelled you to be on your mission was those material. You don't, like, you see what I'm saying? This is what you have to create that desire that nobody can give you. No motivational speaker, I can't give you it. Not a material thing can give you it. And to be honest, you don't want any of that shit to give you it, because it's not real, it's not authentic. And it's gonna get you to eventually get to a point where you start half-assing the work you gotta do, because you don't have no innate burning desire to manifest what you need to manifest. And I hate that word manifest, but you guys get what I'm saying, like to create the reality you need to create, or the situation. I don't even like to say create reality as well, because you're really not even creating reality. You're just participating in reality. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I got to use something, though, to be honest. Like, it just, you got a lot of these people out here who taint all these fucking words. And that's why I don't like, because when I say these words, it's not per se I hate the word. It's just a lot of people in this community, or not really, there's no such thing as no community in 2024. But all of these people on the internet, they're using these words that are tainted. And they're not even bad words. It's just them using it, they taint it. So you'll see some stank pussy tarot deck reader use certain words, and her using it or he using it, they're tainting it with their negative fucking energy. So that's why I don't like using the word. Not per se the word is negative. It's just a lot of people just taint it with their bullshit, and we just gotta learn how to differentiate what's important, because a lot of people think certain things are important that are not important in life. You guys gotta understand that a lot of people think certain things are important that are not important. Most things that people think that are important are just their desires are trying to get met. So it's no different than a crackhead wanting to get drugs. Like I said in my other video, the spiritual community has been nothing but a place people go for therapy. It's pretty much like cheap therapy. It's free therapy, because you watch videos, you feel good, and then you're not watching it to better yourself. Because if you watch a spiritual video and you're like, oh, I agree with this person, it's not like the 9 out of 10 times, or I'll say 8 out of 10 times, it's not even, they're saying something you already know. Because if that person started preaching the word of the Bible, you'll be like, fuck this nigga, he don't know what he's talking about. But when he's saying certain things, you're like agreeing with it. So you just like, they're telling you what you want to hear 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times. It's rare that you'll find something that actually spark your imagination or your creativity to want to get up and do something that you didn't know. Most of the time you've already learned that months or years ago. There was a time it made sense to watch it, but in 2024, most people just watch it just so they can feel better and be told what they want to hear. So, like, we got to get out of this stage. I know a lot of people that are in that stage, and it's not like you guys probably think, oh, I want to watch that. I need the new information. I need this information. I need this deep shit. It's not even really about that, because when I see a lot of, when I go into the Breatharian, one thing I notice about the Breatharian community, people that are into prana, doing qigong, what's his name? Qigong, yoga, breath work, all of that prana activities and shit, all that prana shit. One thing I notice about these individuals is they seem more happier within. More happier than when I see people in the esoteric and spiritual community. And when I see people in the esoteric and spiritual community, even the people who they say they manifested, like, oh, I manifested, or I've done this, or that you may look at them like they're on a certain level. These people, like, they don't look happy as a person that when I see who's been doing breath work for years, who's a liquidarian, breatharian. They've been doing qigong, yoga. They've been really focusing on this energy. When I see people who focus on this fucking energy, they have a certain glow and a certain happiness and joy, and that you can't even deny. Like, you can tell, like, they're really on it, and they may not even be the most knowledgeable. They're not even the most knowledgeable. They don't know really nothing compared to a lot of these esoteric people and these deep spiritual people, but I can tell they're more happier. They're more at joy. Like, people will tell me that I'm in a negative mood, and these people will be people who are in the spiritual community or esoteric community or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I'm looking at them like, nigga, you ain't even happy compared to the community that I see. I'm more happy than you motherfuckers. Cause me, like, this is just how I talk. This is how I am. Like, if you guys see me in real life, you guys see a whole different version of me. But like I said, when I look at the prana community, they're more happier than anybody. And when I say anybody, I'm saying anybody that I've seen in the motherfucking spiritual community. And I'm not saying some of these people aren't spiritual, because some of them are. All of them are, actually. But what I am telling you is they have more joy. They have more, it seems like they're more at peace. Most people in the spiritual and esoteric community, they know all this deep info, but you can just tell, like, they're not really, it's a certain hill that they haven't climbed over to be at peace and joy. And then when you question it to them, they try to make up, oh, you're not supposed to always be happy. Life has ups and downs. That's bullshit. You're supposed to be happy all the fucking time. And because they're basing their happiness based upon events that happen in your life. Something can happen in my life and I can still be happy. If you're doing this prana work, because I've tapped into this energy on a certain level, and once you tap into it, things don't phase you. But when you tap into it, it's not an overnight thing. It's a slow, gradual thing. And you guys see me back in 2001, 2021, and 2020. You guys see how compared to now how I was back then. Like back then, I was only making like 15-minute videos. I wasn't able to go live stream because I was not in the right mindset. Now it's like I'm able to really go live. This is like my 10th video I made today. Probably not my 10th, probably like my 6th or 7th video. And I'm about to be flooding this channel with a lot more videos, so stay tuned with a lot of information. I'm going to keep it respectful because I know you guys need to hear this information. But you guys see me back day from then to now, and it's like night and day. If anything, if you guys see me back in the day, like 2018, 2019, you guys would say I was more different and I was more respectful when I was talking about organic portals. Those are the days where I was depressed and I was miserable as fuck. You guys didn't see it. Because me, it's like it's kind of in reverse for me. When I'm depressed, that's when I'm more polite and more nicer and soft-spoken. When I'm more in my element and I'm really feeling myself, then that's when I can get more aggressive and angry. And you guys gotta understand, I have a moon in the 8th house and I have a Mercury in Aries in the 8th house. So, and we just got done with this solar eclipse moon. So that's why it look, and we have a Mercury in Aries, so this is why it looks like I am the way I am. This is just how I am. It's not really like I'm fucking like an asshole. Like, so a lot of people, they may think, oh, he's hella fucked up, or nah. Like if I'm fucked up to people who do some fucked up things to me. But like I said, I don't want to just keep talking about that. But you guys understand, like, learn how to be at peace with yourself. Stop worrying about how much you need to know, because something at the end of the day, it's not about all this shit you need to know. Only thing you need to know is what you need to know to better your life and better your situation. That's the only thing you really need to know. Once you start feeling like you need to get this information, that information, you're just going to be in a situation where you're just not happy with yourself. You're always not fulfilled, and you got to look at this other motherfucker like, look at them, they're stupid, they're retarded. But at the same time, they're living out their purpose more than you're living out their purpose. They're more at joy than you. Like what I said, there's nobody in the spiritual community that I see. Everyone, even when you see these people that you would think they'll be happy, like the Anton Daniels, that bald-headed ass nigga that I made a video on. I'll probably upload that video before this one, or if you guys already seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. He got millions of dollars, yet he's complaining. He's always has something to complain about. When I see a lot of these people who are into this prana work, they don't bitch and complain about the world and the government and the shadows and all this shit. They don't complain about that shit. Because once you tap into this energy, that shit really don't matter like how it does. Like if you're teaching it to wake people up to get aware, obviously I can understand that. But a lot of these people be taking it into their real life and letting it upset them to the point like they need to always be a certain way. Like that's fucking stupid and it's backwards. And that's one thing I'm starting to realize. Like, and that's one thing I have respect. Like, shout out to that nigga Jerome Shaw. He's a liquidarian. He does Qigong. That nigga, cause I talked to him. I emailed him and I spoke to him in the Instagram. And he's a liquidarian, and I'm trying to get liquidarian. And I told him, like, how did you get to liquidarian? And we talked and stuff. And I could tell, like, the brother, like, he's tapped into something that even the most deep esoteric people I see on here haven't tapped into. And I'm not saying that everyone, like, because I don't like to say shit like this, because motherfuckers gonna start automatically start thinking about certain people and think I'm talking about them. Like, I'm not talking about every single person who speaks spiritual deep shit, so don't come and say that. Nor am I even comparing them. So it's not like I'm not comparing them. But there's people that I've witnessed, that I've seen in the spiritual community and shit, and like, they will come, and I'm not talking about just regular people. These are people who so-called claim to have their shit together, and they may have a nice background or whatever the fuck that you think means you got your shit together. And I just say nice background because the average person watching my channel looks at that as you got your shit together. But a lot of these people, they're not even, you can tell they're not happy. Like, they're just not really, and I'm not saying they're depressed, but they don't have that bliss. So when I say you're not happy, I'm not telling you that you're depressed. They're like, if you're not happy, you're depressed. No, I'm talking about like they're just regular. Like they wake up anymore. If you're not waking up every morning and every day feels like you just put on some fucking like super, super bright glasses and everything looks like a cartoon and everything looks brand, you're looking at life like it's the first thing. If your life isn't looking like that every day, then you got some work to do. As far as if you talk about you Breatharian Path. Like, the more and more I heal, the more I can look at this motherfucking tree right now. I can look at this building and it's like, it looks bright. The colors look surreal. As I remove the blockages due to the infection and due to the tooth infection, and I heal that blockage, I remove the blockage in my neck and I remove it, everything looks more different. And then I have more of a zest for life. Every day is like I'm on a ride. Like, you know, when you go to like those amusement parks, it's like that's how it is. And everything looks like a cartoon. If life isn't like that for you, and you're just like, oh, life is supposed to be not always supposed to be joyful and happy, and if you like that, like I even seen somebody tell you're not supposed to be too excited, because if you're too excited, you're gonna come down. Who gives a fuck if you come down? Like, so I'm not gonna be excited because I'm gonna come down. That doesn't make sense. And who the fuck said you're gonna come down if you're too excited? Being too excited, what's the definition of that? If you have that mentality and you think that, oh, I'm too excited, I need to chill out my energy. What if you're too excited, but that's your normal base energy? Then therefore you're not gonna come down because that's your normal base energy. But if somebody else who had that programming thought that I'm too excited, that's not my energy, then they're gonna crash and come down. But you on this prana Breatharian path, you're not gonna crash and come down. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in your mind. Like, you guys gotta always remember that. Always gotta remember that. Don't let anybody don't look at anyone's situation and like it's your own. Like your own situation is your own situation, because you gotta go fuck around and listen to people who are weaker spirits, who haven't accomplished shit in life. Not when I say life, I mean previous lives. Not just this life, but they haven't accomplished it in past life. Why do you think I have so much knowledge? Because I've experienced everything. I remember my dad took me to the golf park. Every sport I fucking played when I was young, I was the best at it. I was number one at every sport growing up. Like, I have a fucking perfect physique. I was agile as fuck. I was always the best at every fucking sport. Like, because I've done this shit so many times, so I know everything. That's why I don't like, when I say I hate this world, you guys think I'm saying I hate it because I just have hate. No, I hate it because it's boring. Like, everything bores me. That's why I used to do a lot of pills and then drink a lot of alcohol and smoke weed, because that would be the only way I can be entertained. Like, there was a time I used to not be able to go to the movies or play video games without having to drink some alcohol and smoke and take a pill. All three of them at the same time. Like, I couldn't even eat. Like, if I needed to smoke weed to eat, and I needed to eat to smoke weed, like, it was both. So if I didn't have no food, I wouldn't want to smoke, because I needed to eat, so I need to smoke so I can eat. And if I was gonna eat, I needed to smoke. Like, it was both ways, not just, oh, I smoke, I need to eat. It was, if I eat, I need to smoke after. And like, I always needed something like as a crutch. And that's what that's not the reason I got me on the Breatharian Path, but what got me on the Breatharian Path was me going through the tooth infection. You guys already know. But as I got on the Breatharian Path, then I started needing less shit, and not needing less and less. And I remember in the beginning of my Breatharian Path, I started like fucking candy and all these things I used to eat. I started to not like it. And even weed, when I smoked weed, it didn't make me feel the same no more. And I kind of felt, I was like, fuck. I was a stage where I was like, man, the food doesn't taste as good and the weed doesn't taste as good. And I was kind of like pissed off a little, like, damn, I wish that, because I stopped smoking and I stopped drinking like that and eating. And I was like, man, I kind of wish I could enjoy the food. Like, I was a time where I was getting off the food and the weed, and at the same time, I was wishing that the energy wasn't coming so I can enjoy the food, because I wasn't enjoying things that I like to eat. So, and then, like me though, like when I used to eat, like, well, I don't really want to get into that because it's really non-conducive for this video, but like, it was even to a point where like I didn't even want to I didn't want to, I needed to give up this shit, but I didn't want to give it up, and my body was rejecting it, and I was like, I was kind of like stuck in limbo, like, because I would try to smoke and eat certain shit, and I couldn't find enjoyment out of it, and I kind of felt not depressed, but I was like confused and in limbo, like, man, I kind of want to, but then I broke out of that mind programming as I kept having the prana and getting high naturally off the light. But like I said, this is a slow process. Like, I'm not fully there. I'll say I'm like, I don't even know how far, but I've tapped into it to a certain degree. But this is a lifelong thing. This is not something you tap into and you gotta, because when you tap into it, you have a responsibility, because since you have a lot of energy, you have to be able to give that energy to light to people and do something with that energy. You can't just have that energy and just not, because that's a lot of energy that you're developing when you're on this pranic path. So there's a lot of people in this world that need help, that need solutions, and they need answers, and they need your energy, because there's very little people on this planet with that amount of energy. So when you have this energy, you have a responsibility. It's not something you can just take and lay on your ass and, no, you gotta actually do work. But by the time you do the work, and by the time you get the energy, you have so much energy, you can do the work all day and all night. Like, even when you are breatharian, you get into the later stages, you're sleeping for 1-2 hours a night, because when you have so much energy, it's like when you're very excited and you just got some good news, you don't feel like sleeping and eating. That's how being a breatharian is, because you have so much prana, so you're always in that blissful state, so therefore you don't need to eat, and you're sleeping very little, and you always want to go and move and move. That's one of the reasons I have so much energy. I'm able to just come at you guys with the energy, because I'm kind of tapping into it. I'm not fully there yet, because I'm still consuming, obviously, and it is what it is. Yeah, this is some cat food right here. The cats that they live around here, I just get some cat food, and I like to feed the cats and shit. I just like feeding them for some reason, because they be hella starving and shit, so I just feed the cats. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna end this video, guys. I think that's enough for today. I went 32 minutes. I have like 3-4 other videos for you guys. I'm gonna be uploading those. I'm gonna be going live on the 11th. Well, by the time you see this video, I'm already been done going live, so I don't know why I said that, but stay tuned. I got a lot of content for you guys, and I want you guys to let me know what you want me to speak about. It could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about spirituality. And to be honest, like, just anything, to be honest. I don't really like, because spirituality is a lot of fucking, it's a lot of mind control in this shit now. Like, it's not, spirituality community is not like how it was before. Like, right now, it's just another industry. It's just another niche. It's just another category. It's nothing like it was before. So that's why I like to be grounded on my information that I give. Unless you speak in some deep esoteric knowledge, you really ain't saying shit nowadays in terms of spirituality, unless you speak in some deep esoteric. And most people, they can't even fathom that information. Most people don't even want to hear it. Like, at that point, you just speak in deep esoteric. As far as most of these people, it's going at one ear and out the other. But we do need people speaking some shit so we can get the awareness up. But I'm done really going too deep for people. I'm done, because I know it's a lot of people on my channel haven't even reached past stage 1 yet. So what the fuck I look like talking stage 3, 4, 5? Makes no sense. And by the time you break through at a certain level, you really don't even need to watch no spiritual videos, because a lot of you niggas have information that's already within you, that you just have to release the information, release the blockages, so you can tap into what you already know. Because you have to do certain things. Like me, there's certain information I haven't fully gotten yet that I need to get, that's within me. I haven't gotten everything out. Certain things I got to complete then I'll come at you guys and you'll see a new version of me. But like I said, like I've changed from this version from before, but there's still versions of me that I've yet to have to break through, that I need to get to. Therefore, and then the information will come, and then we can go to a deeper level. Because I know damn near everything. It's just the spirit wants to block certain information from me. Because if I have certain information and I haven't proven myself and built myself in the right mental space, I can use that information for negative purposes. So to circumvent that, this is why you have to do the work and make sacrifices to prove yourself that you know what the fuck you are. So I'm going to end it like that, and I'm out. Peace.